Hey guys, this is your friendly Pirate 101 strategist, the Fearsome Rubber Ducky, with another awesome video for you to watch. This is in fact my first video with audio commentary, and is also the start of my new series, Strategy Overview. Hope you enjoy and hope it turns out well. That being said, let's get rolling. Alright, so what I'm going to do is show you the hybrid melee musketeer setup I used to get to champion during the winter season of 2015/2016. But before we get started, I would also like to share with you my 5 rules for success with this particular class of musketeer. Rule number 1, a rushing musket can still bomb. This is particularly important when facing Buccaneer. The stun from rank 3 Vengeance Strike can make it next to impossible to get any kind of good chain attack, so keep your barricade and knockback bombs up just in case. It's important to note that bombs have the same range regardless of the weapon used. Rule number 2, defense rule of 2. Have 2 abilities to hide yourself with, 2 Valor's armor and 2 Valor's fortresses. I also like to have 2 heals handy. The heals are optional, but everything else is a must. Rule number 3, chain triggers. This is the lifeblood of every hybrid melee musketeer. Melee muskets almost never miss against anybody, even swashbucklers, especially after a 75 or 50% dodge reduce. Under these conditions, you will only miss every once in a while under a blue moon made of green cheese. So the only thing to really worry about is starting a good chain. Criticals, quick draw, witch hunt, brutal charge, vicious charge, and attacking wheel-based opponents all tend to trigger a good chain. Rule number 4, you first. This is a good rule for every class, and melee musketeer is no exception. Protect yourself first and foremost. You are more important than any of your companions. Rule number 5. Perfect pet. You don't have to have the perfect pet, but at least make sure your pet grants burst fire and relentless. These 5 rules are rules you should follow if you want to have any success with the hybrid melee musketeer class in ranked PvP. So let's do a quick recap of them. Rule number 1, a rushing musket can still bomb. Rule number 2, defense rule of 2. Rule number 3, chain triggers. Rule number 4, you first. And rule number 5, perfect pet. Now that we have that out of the way, let's look at the talents I trained in for my own melee musketeer. I'm going to skip straight to relentless and burst fire. As I mentioned before, you should already have one of each from your pet, and you can get the other burst fire and relentless from the secret trainer at Devilfish Hollow. I also went ahead and trained Overwatch and Parting Shot. Those do not affect melee musket and are good for when you want to switch back to the standard musketeer setup. I also went ahead and trained Witch Hunt. Everything else is all stuff I had to train to get the talents I already mentioned, or it's just stuff I get from the musketeer trainer for free. Let's have a real quick look at all of those. So those are my talents. Alright, let's have a look at my powers. In the first slot we have Raised Barricade. The second slot has Tempest of Torpedoes in it. Those are the bombs that can push an opponent to another square when stepped on. Slots 3 and 4 have Valor's armor in them. When you think someone is about to charge you, it's nice to have both your Valor's armor and bombs in hand, you can boost both of them with Old Scratch's Mojo Boost. If they decide not to charge you, you can throw that boost into your Valor's armor, which can almost double or even triple your health. In slot 5, we have Walk in Darkness. Slot 6 has Dispel Magic. This is especially useful when used against Witch Doctors. It removes Mojo Reduce, Movement Reduce, Accuracy Reduce, Dodge Reduce, and Critical Reduce. It's important to note that it does not remove poison. I have Hail of Cannonballs, Valor's Fortress, Crit Elixir aka Sky Spirit, Vicious Charge, another Fort, Brutal Charge, Uncanny Shot reduces 75% dodge, Walk in Shadows, and Forbidden. A lot of people don't know exactly what this power does, so I'm going to use a situation to explain how it works. So let's say you are up against a swashbuckler, and you're almost certain he has 2 or more assassin strikes or Walk in Darkness in his hand at that moment. If he has those, then you have a pretty good chance of removing those from his deck using this power. It's important to note that if you have the same power in your deck and you happen to remove that power from your opponent's deck, it will also remove it from your own deck as well. So be sure to use this power against players who have a lot of powers that you don't have. Next, I have Regroup, followed by Rain of Mortar Shells, Sneak Attack, Ruse, Quick Shot. Next we have Powder Monkey's Palisade, and 2 good solid attacks, Inferno Shot and Hurricane Round. Everything else is pretty much junk when it comes to ranked PvP, so I'm not going to really worry too much about all that. So that's my powers. I think next we'll be having a look at my gear. So those are my powers. Here is the equipment I use. I'm going to hold my mouse over each piece of gear to show you what I have. If you want to know where I got my gear, you can look that up in the Pirate 101 Central Wiki. I will provide a link for that in the descriptions below my video. My hat, my coat, my boots, my mount, my like a boss pet, my weapon, my accessory, my totem, my necklace, and my ring. So that's the gear I use. Next we'll have a look at my companions. Alright, here are my companions. I like to use Old Scratch, Chantel Livingston, and Exeter. Old Scratch is good because of his 3 Mojo boosts. He also has a good solid attack and a summon. Those 2 are also Mojo boosted, so his boost also boosts those. Here's a quick look at his talents and his abilities. Chantel Livingston is nice because of her 2 snipes, her agility boost, and her super strike. She's also really good at reducing accuracy and health of incoming enemies if you set her the way I set mine. Give her Overwatch 3, Burst Fire 2, and Double Tap. And here's Exeter. A lot of people ask me what I do to counter Nausica, and Exeter is the answer to that. Both him and Emmett are probably the best counters for her in the game currently. He has Maelstrom along with 2 other movement reduces. Very useful. Musketeer's Medal, which is really good for reducing high-powered companions like Pete, Goro, Fan, and Nausica. And he also has a Super Strike. Here's a quick look at his abilities and talents. I gave mine True Grit 3, Double Tap 2, and Overwatch 1. That's very good to have, especially True Grit 3 and Overwatch 1. At least Overwatch 1. Because if you have that and Nausica comes charging in, then it'll trigger his Overwatch, which will trigger her True Grit, which will trigger your True Grit, and since it's True Grit 3, there's a pretty good chance that it'll stun her, and a lot of the time she'll charge up and not even use her initial attack. So it's really nice to have Exeter, but before I had Exeter, I used El Toro and Winchun. I'm going to really quickly show you their abilities. He has First Strike 3. That's because if you have First Strike 3 and somebody who is hidden tries to attack you, it reveals them. So it's really nice to have that. And I gave him Relentless 2. He has his Esprit de Corps plus dodge and accuracy. Oh wait, let's have a quick look at his stats. Talents and abilities. And Wing Chun. He has his accuracy boost, his rally, and his good solid attack. And I gave mine Repel Borders 3 to reduce the accuracy of incoming enemies. Also Relentless and Bladestorm, and his initial repost. Here are his talents. So those are my companions. I'm sure I would also use Nausica as well if I had her, but I don't. That was my hybrid melee musketeer setup. If this video was in any way helpful, please be sure to like it. If you want to see more videos like this video, please be sure to subscribe. I will be posting videos about 3 times a week. This is the Fearsome Rubber Ducky, and thanks for watching.